Hello, and welcome to another episode of Solipsist Watched. I'm your host, the Social Solipsist, and today I watched 2018's Blindspotting. I'm not sure where quite to start with this. I guess I'll start with my general feeling, which is this is one of the best movies I've watched in a very, very long time. It is powerful and meaningful and hard to watch. And yet it is beautiful in so many ways. And I've just been sitting here for the last 20 minutes, sort of digesting it, trying to figure out how I'm going to talk about it. There's no description of this film that I could provide that would accurately encompass what this film is. It is extraordinary in so many ways, not the least of which being just how much is done in a mere 95 minutes. This is written and starring Daveed Diggs and Raphael Casal, who were childhood friends growing up in Oakland in the Bay Area, in Berkeley, in the Bay Area in the United States. And they wrote this film allegedly about 20 years ago, or a little less, 15 years ago or so. They were, I think by my math, they were in high school then. Maybe in middle school. End of middle school. Maybe anyway, doesn't matter. They were young. It is astonishing that they could write it, even with great adaptation later. But if you recognize the name, Daveed Diggs, he is probably best known these days for being one of the founding cast members for Hamilton, being the original actor for the Marquis de Lafayette. He is a multi-talented, incredible artist, and to realize that I've missed out on this film for so long is a real disappointment. Raphael Casal, on the other hand, does not have a lot of credits to, he actually has probably more credits than Daveed Diggs. They're both young guys. But this was his first movie role. However, I found out after the fact, as I was going over the notes, that he was also in Bad Education. He had a supporting role in that. He looked familiar, and I don't think I made that connection at all, even subconsciously. But there's a connection to another film I had watched. What the two of them created here, and it was also directed by a first-time director, Carlos Lopez Estrada, and he does an incredible job with the direction of this film. This would be a hard film for even an experienced director to direct, and I think it's visually, it's pretty incredible in a whole lot of ways. There's sometimes something to be said for young directors, new directors who are not so beholden to the norms of Hollywood visual media and visual expectations that allows them more flexibility. And Carlos does a great job not only in showing a real mastery of fundamentals, but also being innovative with his shots in a way that I really appreciated. So visually speaking, it's stunning, but Casal and Diggs's script and their acting is really that's really the most stunning thing in this whole film. Much of the film is not really about the plot itself. I could tell you in a sentence, but I'm not going to. Most of it is character studies. And more so than that, a study of a greater society. There's so much in this film. It is dramatic. It's tense. It is often comedic. It is painful and sad, horrifying. And it does all of those things in 95 minutes without ever feeling like any of it is forced, which is an astonishing accomplishment for anyone, let alone a group so young and on such a small budget. I'm genuinely at a loss for words because I'm blown away at what it is. It really defies, definition in terms of any particular genre, and its ability to turn on a dime in terms of its tone, and yet not give you whiplash, is a testament to how incredible and how refined the writing is. No move is unearned. Everything it does is calculated, meticulous, and above all, believable. The way that scenes play out are incredibly human, and they follow characters who are simultaneously subtle, and yet there's so much storytelling beyond just what is said. That's really a culmination of all aspects of the film. Visually, musically, acting, script, everything. Comes down to synthesize a truly unique experience that goes everywhere from buddy comedy to magical realism. It's I've already restarted this recording 3 times, and I'm not going to do it again. We're just going to sit here while I digest. I think probably one of the most incredible things this film really does is juxtapositions, both in a very direct sense to the information on screen, and also in a meta sense as well. like I already said, it really defies it defies definition by any given theme. And yet does such an incredible job of juxtaposing uh, the happiness and sadness, the stress, and, you know, the complex emotions of a real life. And not just internal to an individual, but in the way that an individual relates to the society they live in, their family and friends. Often, character studies can fall at the point of, you know, getting beyond the character that they're following. But this really shows so many dichotomies in terms of the whole arc of human experience that I'm just sitting here blown away because I don't know how they did it. It's beyond explanation. And at some point, if it hasn't already, this is just going to sound like bizarre nonsense rambling because I'm trying not to spoil any aspect of this film. I don't want you to go into this with any expectations whatsoever. I didn't have much in the way of expectations. I didn't know much about the film. As with almost everything I watch, I try not to know anything about it going into it. And given the small size of this production, and the fact that it barely made $5 million at the box office, although I think that was a limited release, that really there weren't a lot of people who saw this, and everyone should. Everyone should. This is a film that I think I could watch every day for a week and get something new out of it every single time. There's so much packed into this film that has so much behind it, where you're just getting the surface, and you recognize that the writers, the filmmakers, the whole process has so deftly shown something much deeper in only a moment, where every moment has a backstory to it that you sort of get a glimpse of. And yet you don't feel left out for not having seen it. Everything about this film is just so believable and rings so true that it makes everything else pale by comparison. I'm almost regretting recording this when I am, because it's hit me so hard. And if I gave myself a day or a week or a month, I think if I came back to it at each of those points, I would have I would make a very different recording. It's just astonishing what this film is, what it manages to do, what the common assumptions of, of the movie business about age and experience and budget and all these other things that are allegedly what make great art. And yet for this to be such sort of a sucker punch to that, like, I'm a big fan of weird indie films, but usually they have huge pitfalls in them. Things I like very much, but if you stare at them too hard, they fall apart a little, or they've got big gaping holes, and you just have to be okay with that because it's an indie film. But this blows everything out of the water. If this one does not get remembered in lists 50 years from now, it'll be a travesty. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's got some issues here and there, but I mean, it's one of, I'm very hesitant to say it, but I think it's probably true. And I don't know, maybe I'll come back and write in the comments if I ever feel differently, but I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen. There are so many indirect influences from other things that sort of, other films or other media that run in sort of the same circles, and yet there's so much more to it. Its ability to integrate things like, I don't even want to say, because I don't want to spoil it. This movie has everything, and it nails everything. And I can't fully articulate that. And that may be unsatisfying, but this whole long recording is basically just going to be me saying, watch this fucking film. It's incredible. The writing's incredible. The shooting is incredible. The audio is incredible. The sets, the costumes, everything is incredible. And it feels so real, and it feels so true, and it has so much to say, and yet it does it with a deftness and a subtlety, but only where it's appropriate. It has this, one of the most astonishing things, it's its ability to be quiet for a very long time and then rip the rug out from under you, and you don't feel, it doesn't do it in a way that you're jarred by it. It does it in a way where you go, oh yeah, no, this is the right cinematic move. Where that switch, these juxtapositions, these comparisons, these ways that things reflect are just, they're just done so well. I sound like a broken record at this point. Watch this film. Find a way to get your hands on it and watch it. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. And I'd make everyone watch it if I could. Thank you for not watching another ramble on Solipsist Watched. I've been the social solipsist. I'll see you guys next time.